Good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the latest headlines that we are tracking. Heat in Parliament over the issue of demonetisation. Rajya Sabha adjourned twice over opposition's demands for Prime Minister's apology. Government slams opposition for stalling winter session. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condemns opposition parties for scuttling debate on demonetisation. BJP Parliamentary Party meet passes resolution praising citizens for supporting demonetisation. Reserve Bank surprises markets by keeping key interest rates unchanged post-note ban decision. Cites global volatility and inflation risks as its reasons. And 97 people killed and more than hundreds injured after a strong earthquake strikes Sumatra in Indonesia. Rescue efforts underway to save those trapped beneath the collapsed buildings. Well, our top story, the opposition's protest over the demonetisation issue remained unabated in the upper house even on Wednesday. Well, the opposition parties reiterated their demand for Prime Minister's apology and accused the government of causing hardships to the people. The government was quick to blame the opposition for causing disruptions over trivial excuses. No government business could be transacted on Wednesday as the standoff between the government and the opposition stalled the proceedings of the House again.
Demonetisation issue continued to deadlock the upper house on Wednesday. Leader of the opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad alleged that the ill-conceived move had resulted in several deaths. He blamed the decision for a surge in unemployment while demanding an RBI update about the deposits and exchange of defunct currency.
इन 84 लोगों की हत्या के लिए कौन जिम्मेदार? कौन जिम्मेदार है इन 84 लोगों की हत्या के? एक स्कीम लाई गई बगैर सोचे समझे और जिसकी वजह से करोड़ों लोगों को लाइन में रखना पड़ा.
BSP leader Mayawati and SP leader Naresh Agarwal also slammed the decision to scrap the high-value currency notes and demanded Prime Minister's apology.
पूरा जो है तो वो प्रधानमंत्री को सुनने के लिए तैयार है. उनको हाउस में आना चाहिए और सभी सदस्यों की बात को सुनना चाहिए और विपक्ष पर खास तौर से जो उन्होंने गलत एलिगेशन लगाया है उसके लिए प्रधानमंत्री को माफी मांगनी चाहिए.
ये जो सत्ता पक्ष है इसने पूरे देश को विकलांग कर दिया. पूरे देश
You start the discussion. Yes, this चर्चा को allow. You start the discussion. There is already a discussion pending in the House. You start the discussion.
इन्होंने देश को लाइन में लगाया है. ये माफी मांगे. जब तक जनता से माफी नहीं मांगेंगे हम लोग सदन नहीं चलने देंगे.
Leading the government's charge, leader of the House Arun Jaitley emphasised that the Prime Minister will make an intervention during the debate on demonetisation. He accused the opposition of adopting an obstructionist strategy and disrupting the House proceedings.
ये कहा गया कि चर्चा इस नियम में हो, हम राजी हो गए. ये कहा गया प्रधानमंत्री जी क्या चर्चा में भाग लेंगे. सरकार ने कहा निश्चित रूप से प्रधानमंत्री जी चर्चा में भाग लेंगे. वो सदन में भी आते रहे. लेकिन किसी ना किसी बहाने को लेकर रोज उस चर्चा को रोकने का प्रयास ये सारा विपक्ष करता है.
In the midst of the sparring between the opposition and the Treasury benches, zero hour and question hour were both disrupted. The chair then adjourned the House till 2 p.m.
House is adjourned till 2 p.m.
Even in the post-lunch session, demands for Prime Minister's presence resonated.
We have to discuss everything in detail and we cannot pass it in such a situation. Before that, we have to complete the discussion which is already on the way, sir. And for that, you just ensure that the Prime Minister who is expected here for the discussion, because so many issues are here to be discussed.
The issue is we want to debate, but whom should we address? There are 14 ministers. Should I go around and go and talking to you? That is why when the Constitution says that this government becomes accountable, then the question is one person takes responsibility. This is not the monetary issue on which I am talking to Finance Minister. I am talking about 14 ministries. The coordinator is the Prime Minister.
2G scam, on the discussion on that was the President. I am referring back. We all insisted, including me, that the Prime Minister should be present to listen to us. For 2 full days, the then Prime Minister was present.
The Congress alleged that India's global prestige had taken a hit due to demonetization.
For what has been
Finance
inflicted on
Minister
this
said
country,
he will do that.
financial anarchy, India's image has been sullied globally. Who is answerable? Not Finance Minister. Is the one who addressed the nation that day.
Okay.
Like the super law.
Okay, fine.
It is
Honorable
he who
Finance
is responsible.
The leader of the House rejected demands for a conditional resumption of the discussion on demonetization.
The Prime Minister has many other responsibilities. The Prime Minister will participate in the debate, and if the opposition wants a debate, let them be honest enough to say yes and no. Let them not impose unreasonable and impossible conditions for a debate.
As the logjam prevailed even after Jaitley's assertion, and with little signs of truce, the chair adjourned the House till Thursday.
House stands adjourned till 11 a.m. on Thursday, the 8th December 2016.
With inputs from Vishal Dhaya, Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the demonetization issue clouded Lok Sabha proceedings in the lower house on Wednesday as well. Although discussion on the issue began, but the opposition was adamant on its demand to have discussion with voting.
As soon as proceedings began in Lok Sabha, there was opposition uproar demanding a discussion on demonetization. All opposition parties came together for this demand. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar said that the government was ready for a discussion on the issue.
Chairman sir, हमारे माननीय सांसद जितेंद्र रेड्डी जी के नाम पर जो 193 लगा हुआ है और कल से उन्होंने उसके ऊपर परसों से बहस शुरू किया है और आज कृपया उनको इजाजत दीजिए वो बहस शुरू करने के लिए.
Several opposition MPs had given notices for adjournment motion to discuss the issue, but they were rejected by the Speaker. A discussion under Rule 193 was scheduled for Wednesday, but opposition parties are adamant that any discussion should entail voting. A discussion under Rule 193 began in the post-lunch session, but opposition uproar ensued.
Discussion with voting! We want 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 discussion!
Before this too, the House was adjourned twice due to opposition uproar. With inputs from Pranav Goswami and Ravindra Singh Shoran, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday condemned opposition parties for not allowing the debate on demonetization to take place in Parliament. At the BJP Parliamentary Party meet held today in the national capital, the Prime Minister also said that the kind of logjam being seen in both houses was undemocratic. Well, the BJP MPs also passed a resolution praising the citizens for their support of the government's demonetization move. Well, the resolution moved by Home Minister Rajnath Singh was seconded by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. It also condemned the change of goalposts by the opposition parties in the Parliament. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar, who briefed reporters about the meeting, asserted that the Prime Minister will respond in both houses of Parliament.
आज हमारे संसदीय दल के बैठक में हमने एक प्रस्ताव पारित किया. उस प्रस्ताव में जनता जनार्दन ने जो हमें समर्थन दिया है इसका हमने स्वागत किया और उसके साथ बिना कारण केवल राजनीतिक एजेंडा से हर दिन गोल पोस्ट चेंज करते हुए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी दोनों सदन में आएंगे, वहां जवाब भी देंगे. ये सारे कहने के बावजूद भी जो गतिरोध पैदा कर रहे हैं कांग्रेस, तृणमूल और बाकी विपक्ष, इसका कड़ी निंदा की.
On to some other news now. Well, the Reserve Bank of India today opted to keep the key lending rates intact in the fifth bi-monthly monetary policy statement on Wednesday. Well, the central bank chose to gauge the inflationary pressures but affirmed to maintain an accommodative stance. Well, the RBI also lowered the GDP growth estimates.
All 6 members of the RBI Monetary Policy Panel voted in favour of a status quo in repo rate at 6.25%. The RBI pegged inflation at 5% in the fourth quarter of 2016-17. It, however, added that the recent rise in crude oil prices present an upside risk to the inflation target. The RBI also lowered the GDP growth estimate to 7.1% in 2016-17 from the earlier projection of 7.6%.
The MPC was of the view that given the reduction of the policy rate of 25 basis points in October, which cumulated to a reduction of 175 basis points since January 2015, a further reduction in the policy rate is not warranted at this juncture.
Defending the demonetization effort, the RBI said withdrawal of the old notes could result in temporary reduction in inflation. It, however, cautioned that demonetization will result in short-run disruptions in cash-intensive sectors like retail, hotels, restaurants and transportation. The RBI also said that there was adequate supply of notes and urged people not to hoard new currency. The central bank claimed that it supplied 4 lakh crore rupees in new notes, while nearly 11.85 lakh crore rupees, or 80% of the junk notes, have come back into the system.
The decision was not and has not been taken in haste, but after detailed deliberations, the consequences that have emanated from that were taken on board, and that's why the planning, the process and the implementation was what it was, keeping in mind that high secrecy had to be maintained.
However, banks got a major liquidity boost with the central bank withdrawing the 100% cash reserve ratio requirement, which was imposed on November 26th.
Whatever incremental cash that was coming to the banks, which as we all know is in very large amount, on that the complete impounding which was done has been withdrawn.
After the central bank's decision, the Sensex, which gained over 148 points in early trade, fell to close down 156 points at 26,237, while Nifty reached its crucial 8,100 levels. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's move on in the bulletin now. India's latest remote sensing satellite, ResourceSat-2, was successfully launched today. But the launch was carried out by ISRO's workhorse, a Polar satellite launch vehicle from the launch pad at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. Now intended for resource monitoring, ResourceSat-2A is a follow-on mission to ResourceSat-1 and ResourceSat-2, which were launched in 2003 and 2011 respectively. Following the successful launch, ISRO chairman A.S. Kiran Kumar said it is going to provide continuity to the 3-tier imaging data, which will be extremely useful for various applications of land and water.
And some of the newer piggyback.
Today we have successful launch of ResourceSat-2A, which is going to provide continuity to our 3-tier imaging data, which will be extremely useful for various applications of land and water.
Well, the appointment of Rakesh Asthana as the interim chief of the CBI has stoked a major controversy. Now, Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge wrote a strongly worded letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday, complaining that the entire process of appointing the CBI chief was vitiated. Now, he alleged that a meeting of a committee that chooses the CBI chief, comprising the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice of India and the leader of the largest opposition party in the Lok Sabha, who in this case is Kharge, was deliberately not called to facilitate giving the charge to a junior officer. Now, critics also say that Rakesh Asthana, a 1984 batch IPS officer, is too junior to even make it to a panel of possible candidates for the post of CBI chief. Now, in his letter, Kharge also referred to the sudden transfer of R.K. Datta, the senior-most officer in line to be the next CBI chief. Now, Datta was shifted to another department in the Home Ministry just 3 days before Anil Sinha retired as CBI chief. Now, the controversy even reached the Supreme Court. Lawyer and activist Prashant Bhushan has now filed an petition challenging Asthana's appointment, which the top court has agreed to hear on 9th of December.
हम चाहते हैं कि कानून के तहत रूल्स के मुताबिक जो एलिजिबल है बेस्ड ऑन मेरिट, such people should be appointed as Director CBI.
For more news from across the nation, let's go nationwide. Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu today ordered an inquiry into the Capital Express mishap that took place on Tuesday night. At least 2 people were killed and 6 others injured in the incident in which 2 coaches and the engine of the Guwahati-bound Capital Express derailed in North Bengal. Now, initial investigation suggests that the driver overshot the signal leading to the accident. The driver and 3 other railway employees have been suspended. The Home Ministry today asked the National Investigation Agency to take over the probe into the Nagrota army camp attack. And now 7 army personnel, including 2 officers, were killed in the deadly attack that took place on 29th of November. A group of heavily armed terrorists in police uniforms had stormed into the army unit in Nagrota, about 3 kilometers from the corps headquarters on the outskirts of Jammu city. The Pakistan-based terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed is suspected to be behind the attack. 2 pilots of the Indigo flight carrying West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and 4 others from Air India and SpiceJet who had reported low fuel while hovering in Kolkata skies last week have been taken off duty. Well, the decision came after a probe by the aviation regulator DGCA. An inquiry had been ordered to find out how 3 flights could be low on fuel at the same time, flying into Kolkata when the norms mandate them to carry enough fuel to enable hovering for 30 to 40 minutes, as well as to carry it to the nearest diversion airport. And in News Tonight, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
BJP seems to dub all the non-BJP parties as hoarders of black money, as corrupt.
In the political jargon, I would say, has been defined that those who are with the move and those who are against.
BJP did this step to, wipe out the other parties by wiping out the cash reserves of other parties and securing its own reserves.
That explains that they were working on the black money.
But it also hints at some kind of an insider trading within the BJP.
Where is the insider trading? Their argument is, sensationalizing it, but at the end of the day, it lacks merit.
Watch To The Point with National Secretary of BJP, Siddharth Nath Singh, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's now get you some international news. Well, a Pakistan International Airlines flight carrying 48 people crashed on Wednesday en route to Islamabad from the northern city of Chitral. Now, so far, 21 bodies have been reportedly recovered from the crash site. 2 children are believed to be among the casualties. But the national carrier confirmed in a statement that flight PK661 had lost contact with air traffic controllers on Wednesday afternoon. Now, there were 42 passengers, 5 crew members and 1 ground engineer on board. Well, the plane crashed near the town of Havelian in the north of the country. Now, more news from Pakistan. We're blaming India once again for the tensions along the line of control. The country once again reached out to the United Nations to play a role in helping resolve the Kashmir issue. Well, Pakistan blamed India for closing the door on any bilateral engagement and told the top United Nations officials that the world had a moral responsibility to settle the Kashmir issue. A special assistant to Pak Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif on Foreign Affairs, Saeed Tariq Fatemi, met UN Secretary General Designate Antonio Guterres and other top UN officials on Tuesday. Fatemi told them that Indian forces had stepped up ceasefire violations on the line of control and the working boundary in order to divert international attention from the alleged human rights atrocities in Kashmir. He further alleged that while Nawaz Sharif had reached out to India and made efforts to develop a mutually beneficial relationship, the efforts were not being reciprocated by New Delhi. The statement released by Pakistan said that after the meeting, the UN leadership called for resumption of dialogue and de-escalation of tensions between the two neighbors. And to the other big international top story, where an earthquake off Indonesia's northern Aceh province has killed at least 97 people and injured hundreds others. Well, the 6.5 magnitude quake struck just off the northeast coast of Sumatra Island, where dozens of buildings have collapsed and many people are still feared to be trapped under the rubble. Now, Indonesia's Met agency said there was no risk of a tsunami. Remember, in 2004, Aceh was devastated by a tsunami that had killed more than 170,000 people in Indonesia alone.
Rescuers combing the rubble for survivors. After a 6.5 magnitude earthquake hit Indonesia's Aceh province at about 5 a.m. local time. The district of PD Jaya is the worst hit, with a shallow quake completely destroying about 200 homes, shops and 14 mosques. The quake struck when many residents were preparing for early morning prayers. There is now reluctance to go back indoors as aftershocks continue to rattle.
Diperkirakan korban masih bertambah, mengingat masih terdapat beberapa warga yang saat ini diperkirakan masih tertimbun oleh reruntuhan atau bangunan roboh. Sehingga tim SAR gabungan masih terus melakukan.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo ordered immediate assistance to be sent to Aceh, an area previously devastated by a massive quake and tsunami in 2004. This time, Indonesian Meteorological Agency said there was no risk of a tsunami. But the quake has cracked roads and downed electricity poles, causing problems in delivering aid. The local hospital in Aceh is overwhelmed, with many injured being treated outside the building.
Ini istri aja Pak, anak-anak bagaimana? Anak, belum tahu, ada yang di luar rumah, di pesantren, di depan ngaji kan.
Aceh province is no stranger to natural disasters. In 2004, a huge undersea earthquake in the Indian Ocean triggered a tsunami that engulfed parts of Aceh, killing more than 170,000 people in Indonesia and tens of thousands more in other countries around the Indian Ocean. Earthquakes are relatively common around Indonesia, which sits on the infamous Ring of Fire, a set of fault lines that circle the Pacific Basin. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's get you some more international news in Global Buzz. Myanmar has banned workers from going to Malaysia as relations between the neighbours soured over a bloody military crackdown on the Myanmar's Rohingya minority. Well, the move came after Malaysian Prime Minister Nazir Razak lashed out at Myanmar's de facto leader Aung San Suu Kyi for allowing genocide in her watch during a rally on Sunday. Syrian rebels have left the last areas they held in Aleppo's old city and have called for a 5-day truce to allow the evacuation of civilians. The rebels' pullback comes after days of heavy fighting there. The Syrian army and allies closed in on areas near Aleppo's old city on Tuesday, forcing the rebels to leave. Dozens of people are feared drowned in the Arabian Sea days after their vessel disappeared off the coast of war-torn Yemen. Well, the boat went missing 5 days ago when heading from Yemen's southeastern port city of Mukalla towards Socotra with some 60 people on board. Now, only 2 have been rescued so far. And in UK, 2 drug firms, Pfizer and Flynn Pharma, have been fined £90 million for hiking the cost of epilepsy drugs by 2,600%. Well, the regulator, the Competition and Markets Authority, said that the hike was excessive and unfair and that the 2 firms broke competition law by increasing the cost of a medicine used to be by around 48,000 patients in the UK. Now, time now for all the sporting action in SportsBeat. The Supreme Court today ordered a release of 1.33 crore rupees to BCCI to be used by the board to host India's remaining test matches against England. Now, 25 lakh rupees each has been allotted for the matches in the ODI and T20 series against England next year. The BCCI does not have free access to its coffers since it has not complied with the reforms proposed by the Lodha Committee. In tennis, 12-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic has parted company with coach Boris Becker. Now, Djokovic worked with the former Wimbledon, US and Australian Open winner for 3 years. The Serbian world number 2 won 6 Grand Slams under Becker and held all 4 major titles at the same time when he won the French Open final in June. And in football, Arsenal finished at the top of Champions League Group A thanks to a Lucas Perez hat-trick against Basel as Paris Saint-Germain's drew with Ludo Goretz last card. Meanwhile, Robert Lewandowski free kick sealed the Bayern Munich's 1-0 win over Atletico Madrid, with both the teams already through to the knockout stage. Napoli and Benfica also clinched places in the Champions League last 16. Well, that's it from me and my team in this edition of News Tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.